Hi everyone, welcome to the Antoine Anonymous live stream. I'm just setting up right now. You can let yourself know in the chat for those who want you to let yourself know, I guess. I like that one. We're going to read that today. Talks about insanity. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Okay. That's good. How you guys doing? Huh? How are you guys doing? It's important. It's important for me to know how you guys are doing. That's a weird fucking light. Why is it yellow? And why am I blurry? One sec. Oh, okay. Okay, 1 second. Ah, there we go. Okay, my friends. Hussam, hello Hussam, and Greg Savoie, how's it going? The Daily Drift. It's been a rough week, but getting through it. And David got back from the meetings. That's awesome. Waited Wender, hello also. Daily Drift, don't give up. We're going to talk about some stuff today, and you can share about your struggles here if you want and share it with us. But first of all, obviously, let's start the live stream with the one and only Serenity prayer. And here, Wade and Wonder is talking 10 days post bicep surgery. This prayer could be good for you because you got to accept your situation, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. Okay. So far we have somebody 10 days post bicep surgery here. And somebody got back from the meetings, David. Good on you. And Daily Drip is struggling a little bit. Greg, I'm good. Also, guys, there's like a significant delay when you guys write something and I see it. Sonny, all right, hello, Sonny. So, if you type something and I don't respond right away, it's because there's a delay. For example, like if you type something now, I'll see it now, but what you're watching right now is me from the past, like I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, I don't know. I gotta make it shorter. Just letting you guys know. All right. David says, well, Sonny says, got sober in 2016, originally lost my way this year. So what happened? Why did you lose your way, Sonny? You want to tell us? Every time I've lost my way, I knew after the fact exactly why. Okay. So anytime you guys have questions or comments, you can always let me know right in the chat. So what I do usually every time is that obviously I communicate back and forth with the chat, and I also have a reading that I put on the screen like that, and then I will read it, and then we can share about it. So David says, my girlfriend of 4 years broke up with me, and I am broke. Hey, I've been there, honestly. I've been there, and then I was like heartbroken. I was broke, and I was like in rehab. So that was more than one time, sadly. So I know exactly what you're going through, and this is why, like, when I talk to other recovering addicts, when I want to get support, is that the help is worth way more than somebody just telling me like, "Hey, don't stop doing it. Just stop, man." Like, even in rehab, for example, there were counselors that were good counselors, but they just went to school, and they were never an addict, right? Well, even if you're telling me all this stuff about the CBT, the therapy, all this stuff about recovery that you learn in school for drug counseling. They, I kept telling them like, you don't know how it feels. How do you, how do you know how it feels? You don't know how it feels to be in my position, right? But I know how it feels to be in Davis' position because I was there. I mean, some and everybody's position is a little bit different, but heartbroken in rehab and broke. Hey, I was that was pretty much all my rehabs almost. Honestly, Melonhead is back this week. He's supporting our buddy Sonny there. He's right. Melonhead is right. He says that we don't have one shot of sobriety. It's a long battle. And the thing is, I almost wanted to make a T-shirt out of that. It's like I like this saying, like, fall down 7 times, get up 8, because that's all that matters. You can fall down 100 times, but if you just get up one more time and stay up, this is what matters. And honestly, every time I stood back up, I thought that was it. I thought I was going to be okay, and I was going to be clean my whole life, you know. And then I understood it was on one day at a time. And even though I was taking one day at a time, I failed with that again. And then eventually, I'm racking up the days right now because I'm putting my recovery first. My priority is my recovery, and doing this live stream is part of that. So it's like giving back a little bit, right? Melonhead says, I was told the wagon always has room for us. Oh yeah, the debauchery wagon will always have a place for me, but will always be vacant. But I am occupied elsewhere now. I am occupied in the castle of recovery. Anyways, yeah, I'm an addict, recovering addict. Okay, so let's start this reading here. November 8th, 2025. Freed from insanity. All right. We all heard the description. Everybody likes to say that quote like they made it up, but you know when they say like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different result is like the definition of insanity for some people. They love to say that and it sounds smart. But where this applies for me is this. If that definition of insanity is true, I was truly insane then. Because I would pick up drugs, tell myself this time will be different. This time it will just be a weekend or it will just be a day. It will just be a bag. It will just be that one party. And then I'll shut it down. This time I know. I have a feeling this is it. This time I'll control it. I'll be fine. Nothing bad will happen. I'll make sure that no bad consequences. No one would find out. So I was expecting a different result than all the other times that I did before where the same result happened. I got caught. I didn't stop when I said I would stop. I bought more drugs. This, that. Right? And then I was like, I don't understand what happened. Like, why did I do this? Then I would hate myself, guilt, shame, all this stuff. And then, I would bunch of times I did that many times. Many times. I did it every time, honestly, except, the last time. The last time I did it too. I did it every time I did it. There's not one way. There was maybe one time I stopped. It wasn't my drug of choice, but but then it was just like I fucked up later. You know what I mean? It's like I never used drugs successfully, like with the rules I gave myself before ingesting the drug, taking the drug. All the rules I would make for myself, I wouldn't give a fuck about them once I was high. Right? So Melonhead is giving an analogy with Legos. I like that. All right, let's keep reading here. Will you guys catch my drift here? Do you catch my daily drift? Here's the little quote from the basic text. Do I believe it would be insane to walk up to someone and say, may I please have a heart attack or a fatal accident? Yeah, that doesn't make freaking sense, right? That sounds insane. We've heard it said that unless we're in love, we can't remember what love feels like. The same could be said of insanity. Once we're freed of it, we may forgot how truly bizarre our insane thinking can be. But to be grateful for the degree of sanity to which we've been restored in Narcotic Anonymous, we need to remember just how truly insane we've been. Okay, so what it says is that the only way pretty much to be grateful that I am not insane anymore is just to think about how insane I was before. And this can be applied for non addicts too, right? It's like we have to remember what it was like. It's even with more than just insanity. Like if I'm just always wanting more, and I got the house and the wife and the baby, but like I always like this is not enough or whatever. I don't think like that about these things honestly, but like with my own performance and money and this and that, I could feel like I could always do better. But then it's like, oh, do you remember how fucking broke you were and crazy you were? You were in rehab on welfare. Remember that, and now you'll be grateful of today. Yeah, true. It's a good exercise, right? So I remember how crazy I was. People they said earlier here like, oh, you forget sometimes, like you don't know what love is until you love again. Well, I'm glad I don't remember how it feels to be insane. I can't remember a little bit, but I do remember the consequences of it. I remember my actions. Maybe not the feeling, but the actions for sure. Let's keep reading. Today, it may be hard to imagine saying something as ridiculous as, may I please have a heart attack or a fatal accident? No one in their right mind is going to ask for such things. And that's the point. In our active addiction, we were not in our right mind. Yeah. I wasn't in my right mind. And honestly, prior to like doing drugs, I don't even know if I was in my right mind also, because that type of thinking is what led me to my reckless drug use and got me addicted to drugs. So, and then everything got enhanced in a bad way once I was on drugs. Each day we practiced our addiction. We courted fatal disease, degradation, exploitation, impoverishment, imprisonment, death by violence, even death by sheer stupidity. Courted, like flirting. Yeah, I guess I brushed death a couple of times, a few times, maybe more if without realizing it. Like I really wondered what my blood pressure was, but when I was on drugs, probably why I had the calcium score stuff. My pressure was probably over 200. Didn't even know. Felt great. Felt great though. Heart was about to explode. In that context, the idea of asking for a heart attack or a fatal accident doesn't sound all that far out. That's how insane we've been. Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you've been up for like multiple days and you still want to keep going, right? Like that's crazy. That's not normal. I wasn't normal. And then it says, the program, the fellowship, and our higher power together, they've worked a miracle. The second step is not a vain hope. It is reality. Knowing the degree of insanity we've experienced, we can appreciate all the more the miraculous power that has restored us thus far to sanity. For that, we are truly grateful. So they do add the higher power. In the second step, the higher power is introduced in the program. It's like what is the second step? We ask the higher power to restore us to sanity. Something like that. Or the higher power restores us to sanity. Anyway, this is where a power greater than myself did restore my sanity in a sense, But only, for me, I felt it only when I surrendered to the fact that I messed up again. That I lost total control. And every time, because when I'm in active addiction, there's the obsession. Nothing else matters in the world for me but to do more drugs and get some more and get people all the way to get some more. Really hard to stop. The obsession is like really bad. Think about this. I'll do a comparison. You remember a time in your life where you really, really had to pee like crazy in traffic? You had to hold your pee, and the relief you had when you peed, and how bad your mind was only thinking about, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee. Well, when I was obsessed over doing drugs, it was the same thing, but instead of I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, it's like, I gotta pick up, I gotta pick up, I gotta pick up. And it's all I thought about. All I thought about. There was no room for anything else in my brain and in my soul but for me to just like get this done. And now that's crazy, right? But then it would go all the way like that. As soon as I would get on my knees, like a lot of times, literally, and then surrender to the fact that I was going to rehab, that I had to stop, that it was too much, I lost control, then I seeked out help. I told all my friends and family and stuff, whatever, that I messed up, and it was like the beginning of my recovery. The beginning of my recovery was only happening every time I surrendered, and I guess it was to a higher power, maybe, because the obsession was removed after that, like magic. Like what did that? What did who removed my obsession? Why did it just go all away? It was really, really bad a few minutes ago, and then I surrender. I'm in a lot of pain. I go to bed. I wake up. The obsession is gone. It's like a miracle, right? And the drugs are gone too. It's like, so I feel really bad, but the obsession to use is gone because I surrendered. So the power greater than myself relieved me from the insanity, from the obsession. That's kind of step two. Then step one is I accepted. Just before that I was powerless, lost control, and then I surrendered to that. Then the obsession was removed. The insanity was like kind of removed a little bit, and then obviously you do a lot of therapy after that to scrape off the excess insanity that's like ingrained in my way of thinking. But this is how it started for me. All right, and here it says this: just for today, I will take some time to recall how insane I've been while practicing my addiction. Then I will thank my higher power for the sanity that has been restored to my life. Thanks, higher power. I owe you one. So, what do you guys think about that reading? Pretty good reading, right? I can always find another one. We're 20 minutes in. If you guys have any questions, just type them in. Oh. All right, I guess I could talk about that. I got another reading here. Boing. Boing, boing, boing. Doot, 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 doot. Praying for tolerance. I'm just trying to replace this. Aligned. No. Hop. 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 Poof. All right. Here we go. We have another reading. If you guys want to do that. So let me read some comments here. Never stop trying. The Lego thing. Perspective is a hell of a drug. I mean, it was hard for me to get perspective when I was like in active addiction, right? Everything, I was seeing life through this filter of the drugs I was on, right? Combined with the obsession and how self-centered I was. It's like my perspective was flawed. Now I can only have a better perspective because of my clean time. So now I can actually take a moment and actually do some introspection. Think about the perspective. Way better than before. David says, my higher power is my brother and ex-girlfriend that died in 2015. I try to think about what they would want from me, but I lost my faith this year and I'm trying to build back my connection with God. I like that you said, I try to think about what they would want from me. That's called God's will. That's step 3. You have a high power to take care of your will. You give your will in your life to the care of a higher power. That's step 3. And what that means is that, what would God want me to do? Because let's say if I just take my own selfish needs, worse, my own selfish wants. My own selfish wants and what I need to do, the right thing, totally different, right? If I just listen to my impulses, if I just listen to if I just react, it's not the right thing to do most of the time. That's why they say when something happens, never do your first thought. Always take a moment of a little break and just try to think about what's your second and third and fourth, and try to ask yourself this exact question David said: what would they want me to do? His higher power is his brother and ex-girlfriend. That's a good way to do it. When you choose a higher power, you can't really choose the tree in your backyard, because if the tree goes down, you lose your higher power. So you need something abstract like that. Nature, the universe, God, whatever it is. Some people, they use religion very successfully, like Hussam. Hussam is has a good faith. Craig Savoy is saying a prayer and surrendering to my higher power is how I got off the drugs on my last relapse. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. This is step 2, And talking about praying, let's read this. I think it's an abstract reading, but we're going to do it. Oh, microphone here, microphone here, microphone here. Praying for tolerance. We have found tolerance to be a principle that strengthens not only our own recovery, but also our relationships with individuals who are a source of irritation to us. Oh, people that piss us off. That would be a good thing. Tolerance. Casual Call says, what's your higher power? How do I find mine? Well, do you want me? I can tell you exactly how I found mine. When I was younger, I believed in Jesus and God and all that stuff, because raised Catholic, went to church, You believe in Santa too, you just don't know better. And then I became, I think, atheist. I was like, this is bullshit. Why would that be the thing, right? And then I did some classes of philosophy in school, when I was a little bit older. Then I was like, why would I even know? Why would I know what is true? Damn, I became agnostic, right? I don't know. I'm just human. Why would I have the answer about the whole universe? So that was how I was for the longest time. So maybe, I don't know, there's something out there. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's, who knows? And then I did all the, rock bottom. Then my first rehab, I was introduced to the DNA program, the 12 steps. And in the 12 steps, you need a higher power to do it. Right? It's very recommended. You can get clean without one, I'm sure. But it's much easier with one. So I said, well, I don't have a higher power. And then the counselor said, well, find one. I said, find one. Do I just make one up? He said, yeah, start with that. Make one up. I said, really? So fake it till you make it, I guess. So I was like, okay, gods. And so I listened to a lot of metal back then. I was like, you know what? I think Thor, the god of thunder, is going to be my higher power. Because I would wear his hammer a lot. I just like what it represents. Strength and all this stuff and power, So Thor was my higher power at first, and then it kind of evolved into something else, which is still the same thing as now. I think there is now it's like I know, so I could call it God, but I cannot really describe what it is because God, the whole that power that created everything is in all the dimensions at the same time. So my brain is only limited and only made to interact with things on the material plane with all my five senses, right? So I can only describe things that I can hear, see, touch, smell. Hear, did I say that? Five senses. Smell, see, taste, ear, touch. Is that five? All right. So my brain is only made to interact with these things. But God is much more than just these things. So I am not equipped to describe God. Okay? But I know He's there. I have a feeling that it's this like, in Star Wars, they talk about the Force. It's kind of like that. It's like this, it's everywhere at the same time. It's also in the past, but at the future at the same time. And that's also in the present. And it's like, it has all the answers. It's also one thing, and also everything at the same time. And it's like it's pure, and it's through everything. No evil in there. So this is my higher power, and this is maybe a description of like maybe a God for some people. I can't put an image to it. This is why I think in Islam they say you can't draw Muhammad because you're not supposed to. You're not able to, right? To draw like even though he's a prophet. I don't know everything about it, but I think that's the gist of it. He's supposed to be a messenger from God, so it's kind of like not good to try to do that. But you could draw God if you want, in my opinion. It would be a good creative exercise. But yeah, so it's like this is what my higher power is. I don't know. My brain is not equipped to be able to describe exactly what it is, but it's something driving everything forward, and that's also everywhere at the same time, at all times. I hope that answers your question a little bit. But what I did at first, I just started to believe in something as almost like an exercise to make sure I could do the 12 steps properly. Here's Hussam. Hussam says, if you truly want to be guided to the right path, then ask God wholeheartedly, and you'll be guided to the right path one way or another. Shout out to Hussam. David says, I've heard some people say recently the first step is admitting you are not God. The first step is that, well, yeah, pretty much, it's admitting you're powerless over your addiction and drugs. So it's pretty much, instead of thinking you're always in control and you're the center of everything, you do the opposite and you accept that you're powerless over the drugs. So it's kind of like that. Bubba says, I just got kicked out of a rehab program, but the funny thing is I've been sober for over a year now, and all the meetings I had to do all the focusing and talking about drugs drove me nuts. I rolled both my ankles today doing box jumps. I'm hurting right now. Well, that sucks. And yeah, some people don't like all the drug talk, but a lot of meetings they say drug of choice. They don't really say it, but I understand sometimes that there's some meetings it's like, especially in rehab, everybody just fucked up. Everybody's into the rock bottom, so you hear a lot of negative shit. But if you go do meetings on the outside, if you have good ones, you'll have people that just share about gratitude. They share about how they got clean. They share about what's good in their life right now and what they're doing to stay clean, and their life are doing good. So sometimes it's like you gotta focus on the guys that are actually happy to be clean. There's a lot of people who are not happy to be clean. So I get it though. Sometimes I would go to a meeting, like, oh man, this one was fucking heavy. What a bummer. But what I do is I'm glad I'm glad I'm not in that spot anymore. You know. Then I go to my nice place, my nice house, and with my wife and my kids. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep reading this. So many of us have had the experience of calling our sponsor to complain about that terrible person at work, or that loathsome family member, or that insufferable fool at the area service committee meeting. If not for them, how peaceful and pleasant our lives would be. Our patient and loving sponsor gently asks, have you prayed for them? Oh, so cliched. 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 What? That's not a word. Bubba pops some Tylenol. Whoa, watch out for autism. I heard in the U.S. you get autism if you take Tylenols. Anyway, that exercise. If somebody's hurting you and you're hating somebody, doing a prayer for them is actually helpful. And the thing is, I've done it too. Sometimes, people that there's two. I think I have two people that really pissed me off and were really annoying and getting to me in the past, I guess, couple years now. And I would sometimes I would pray. I would when I was praying and stuff. You know, sometimes in the meetings, then you do a prayer at the end. Then you have to think about something or somebody, right? But I would think about these two freaking idiots, and I would wish for them to get better and stuff. And honestly, I want them to get better, genuinely. I want them to heal, get better, and become good people. Just away from me. Why don't you get better in fucking Europe or something, right? Get better somewhere else. Out of my life. But I do want them to get better. So that is the thing, you know. So it is helpful, though. It's like, what else that's an exercise I also started doing that makes everyone. It really increased my compassion by maybe tenfold. I'm 10 times more compassionate because of just this exercise. Since I had my little baby, now what happened next is that everyone else, everybody that's all the homeless people that piss me off, fucking idiots, all these that stuff, they were all little babies at some point. They were all like little cute babies who couldn't even crawl. That you had to take care of them. They were like powerless for real, you know, and vulnerable and cute. So now I'm like, oh my god! So all these people are just babies. They were little babies, and then I just have more compassion, and my hate goes down by a lot. So that's another exercise, but it kind of happened by itself. It's like they were all like little children that were pure before, and then the environment around them, people around them, is made them like turn the way they are. And the thing is, another exercise that I get add on that, if I was born as the baby of them as babies with their brain, if my soul got into that baby and I was stuck with that body, that brain, their parents, all their stuff, I would be in the same spot that they are. So that's another thing that's like, it's not like it's not their fault they got into that situation. Like, it's still my fault I became an addict. But what I like to say, and what I like from one of the readings too, is that it says, it's not my fault I'm an addict, but it is my responsibility to be in recovery. Right? So all of us ended up where we are. We're there now. It's not really our fault because our brain has been like that, and our decisions, we made it. We thought we did the best we could, or maybe we didn't do the best we could, but we didn't care. Our brain made us didn't care. It's not really our fault. But now we are responsible for the rest, right? Unless the brain is, unless we're not ready yet. David says, yeah, taking everyone as babies is kind of hilarious. LOL. Yeah, well, it is funny, but at the same time, it's like sad too, right? When you see all these people like suffering in the street, or these guys who are just idiots. Chuck E. Cheese Ranch is back and says we are molded under different environments. It's not our job to get pissed at everything that we can control. True. Then we can bring back this serenity prayer with that, right? All right. I'm going to keep reading. Of course, sponsors tend to speak from experience. They know that when we pray for the people who bother us, we are often the ones who change. Okay. All right. Yeah, because we can't really change other people, but we can change the way we see things, right? Sure, sometimes people around us do become more tolerable. People grow and change all the time. Even insufferable fools. But when we pray for the people who bother us, we increase our own tolerance and compassion. See, talk about the compassion here. While everyone in the world has room for growth, tolerance is much surer way for us to experience peace and harmony than simply waiting for those around us to get better. Okay, so if we increase our tolerance, it's we'll get more peace than waiting for people to change. Makes sense. Makes sense, right? Some people will take a long time to change. Other may never improve at all. And this could be like our parents, our friends. It's like people we can't even get rid of, kind of. You know what I mean? It's like we don't choose our family. If those around us aren't going to become more tolerable, our best solution may simply become more tolerant. This doesn't mean accepting unacceptable behavior. So we need boundaries, right? Boundaries, very important. We still set healthy boundaries as appropriate. There you go. Our sponsor can help us sort out the tolerable from the unacceptable. Yeah, so we could get help from outside if you're not sure if you should accept something or not. Because a lot of people will endure unacceptable behavior for a long, long time. Think about toxic relationships. Have you guys or gals that ever had toxic relationships? Well, I did in the past. So I know what that feels like too. Our sponsor can help us sort out the tolerable for the unacceptable. We remind ourselves that we don't need to be friends with everyone. Yes, I like that part. I don't have to be friends with everyone. We just need to be able to play nice with others when we're at work, at family gatherings, and at service committee meetings. That's kind of a funny thing. We don't have to be friends, but we can just play nice. Like a play, we're acting nice. So I guess sometimes it's just better to just like be kind and be nice, and then you just go home, and then I guess you can express how you feel to your wife or something. Talk shit. Hey, thanks, Bubba. You're a good guy too, man. Okay, at the end it says, I can't make the people around me grow on my schedule. To get along with difficult people, I will pray for tolerance. So you can ask God, your higher power, can you please make me tolerant so I can deal with life and these pieces of shit in it? You can talk to your higher power the way you want. Prayers don't have to be all like, you don't have to be a pastor and read the Bible to pray. You can just talk like you talk to your buddy, right? Bubba says, you're a sponsor. No. I had this. I helped two people in the past online. Actually, I even documented some of it. It's on my YouTube somewhere. One of them did good, got his shit together. The other kid I mean, he's not a kid, I guess, in his 20s, but he would do good, relapse, do good, relapse, and every time he would relapse, I would, try to help him out if he reaches out. But at some point, it's like you just have to like submit to the program, to the fact you're a recovery addict, and I can't help people really accept themselves. There's the sponsor has a limit. So yeah, I did sponsor like a couple people, but we didn't go through the steps. I was just like showing support. Like it would be like I was like almost like a private counselor, talking about my experience with the program and my life and stuff. So, but yeah, the way I get back right now is these live streams. Honestly, pretty much. This is what I do. I did one Tuesday. I did one last weekend. I did one Tuesday. I did one tonight. So maybe I'll do another one. Maybe I'll do it twice a week. Hey, who knows? Twice a week. Can't hurt. Can't hurt anybody, right? Just an hour of my time. Well, 42 minutes and 54 seconds of my time. So yeah. Hey, do you guys have any questions before I shut it down? I know there's a delay, so I'm going to keep talking about random stuff in the meantime. Alright, well, if you guys don't want to have questions, maybe we can name 3 things we are grateful for. That's a good way to end. Positive note. Right? Oh, another question by Bubba. Do you think addiction is a disease? I don't think it's a choice. That's why they kicked me out of the rehab, because I voiced my opinion. Well, Bubba, I got kicked out of rehab too before. And honestly, for me, it was pretty much my fault. Honestly. Like, you're saying you voiced your opinion. I was doing that too, voicing my opinion. But I had a lot of cognitive distortions. Like, I would think people were saying something and it meant something. I was sure that if they said something, this is what it meant, because this is how I felt about it. But I was wrong, right? And I was also hating myself, and that hate, I had so much hate for myself, it was like overflowing into on other people. I was really like fighting back against like authority, you know. Yeah, I would get, I would be rude with the counselors, and sometimes I would be in conflict with other people in there. I would think everything is stupid. It's like I thought I was right about everything. It's like I was clean, but like I was still thinking very much self-centered, but I was still sick. Like you say, like, this is it a disease? It kind of is a disease, because it just keeps getting worse. And also, it is a mental health disease. You're not like dis-ease. You're not at ease at all when you're in the midst of it and everything is fucking crumbling down around you. There's no ease there. Disease. Yes, disease. And also, I like the fact it's almost like an allergic reaction to drugs and alcohol. Because normal people, they'll do drugs and alcohol, and when they start feeling, they're like, okay, cool, I got enough, I feel good. No, I would have a crazy reaction where I want to do more and more and more and more and keep going. It's like it's like if it was peanuts, I'd be dead. You know what I mean? I'm going to read some comments. Thank you for doing this stuff. I didn't make it, today, and the only ones that can go is still like half-hour drive away. It is worth the drive, though, David, but I'm glad you were here today. This is kind of a meeting, kind of, right? Chuck E. Cheese says, I'm good, never tried any hard stuff. So grateful I don't miss any of those substances. And then David says, I used to talk about how the guy who found AA took LSD and everyone in rehab would come at me. Well, it doesn't say in the big book that he did LSD, but for sure, okay, I need to read Bob's story next time. Bob's story is nuts. So Dr. Bob, because it's Bill and Bob, right, that did the big book of AA. Bob was a full-blown addict. He was shooting up with a syringe in his arm before bed, in his veins, like to help him fall asleep. He would self-prescribe this crazy hard medication, and they would be popping pills and and a bunch of stuff. But back then, the drugs didn't kill. There was no drug epidemic back then. It was alcohol epidemic. So the main focus of the book was to fight alcoholism because it was the main thing that was killing people. If there would be no program and no 12 step today, it would be called like fentanyl something, right? Because this is what, or just drugs like NA. It would just be NA because drugs are like killing way more people than alcohol. I don't know actually. That's a good question. What's killing more people in the world? If you can't have the stats, just do the USA. Drugs or alcohol kills more people. And alcohol is a drug too, right? It's like I'm just saying that. Okay. So key numbers. So drug overdose deaths. 107,941 deaths. So 107,000. The alcohol attributable deaths more than 170. Oh shit! Alcohol is still killing more people in the USA. So while drug overdoses are a major cause of death and have grown rapidly, alcohol, due to long-term disease, accidents, cause a larger number of deaths already in the U.S. So overdose, you can die right away. But a car crash, you can also die right away. But most of the way people die is just dragged out like a slow drip poison, slow drip suicide. I really hope YouTube doesn't flag me from all these words. It's like the algorithm, the AI is worried right now from all the shit I'm saying. But yeah, but you understand what I mean, right? Bubba says A is group thinking. If you have a different opinion they don't want to hear it, at least that's my experience. Well, it depends. Like if you go to old A meetings, some of them are pretty stubborn with their way of thinking, right? They don't want to hear about drugs, but it's like you got to tell them, like, dude, did you read Bob's story? But this is why NA exists. NA is all the drugs, including alcohol. There's even a thing that we say like alcohol is a drug, period. You know what I mean? So Hussam says, oh man, just got done my workout. I have a massive chest pump at the moment. Hussam is high on the pump right now. Bubba asked me if I worked out. I didn't work out today, but I did a jiu-jitsu tournament. I had 3 matches, in-house tournament at the school that I go to, the jiu-jitsu school, grappling. Yeah, Hussam, alcohol is forbidden. It's a haram. You're right. There's some good things about the Muslim book, The real book, the real Muslims are good people. I know that. Yeah, the pump is a cure, man. That makes you feel good. No bad effects from that. Only positive. But anyways, 3 things I'm grateful for. You guys can still ask questions before I go in the meantime. 3 things I'm grateful for. My family, which includes, in parentheses, my wife and my son. And everybody else in my family too, I guess my mom and stuff. But other than that, I like my hobbies, musical instruments. I like, I like the fact that I can do hobbies. I couldn't do hobbies when I was on drugs. I was just doing druggy stuff. And then I am also grateful that I can think properly and have a better perspective on things, and I'm less reactive, and I can actually make good decisions now. Bubba says, I think I have a cognitive distortion too, I believe. Yeah, I bet. But you know what, Bubba? It's okay. You can just, what you could do? But you could go on. I put it up the other day, but if you go on Chat GPT and you say, "Can you name all the cognitive distortions from the CBT therapy?" It's going to list all of them. You can do a Google search if you want, but it's pretty good. It's like, oh shit, I do that, I do that, I do that. I was doing all of them except like two or something. So yeah, Usam says, yeah, I saw that. My nephew also had this first just tournament last weekend. He won gold. He's 5. That's awesome. It's great for kids, honestly, because you don't really get hit on the head, right? Like boxing and like kickboxing, get hit on the head. It's like I'm like, oh, it's kind of bad for you in the long term. But jiu-jitsu, if you tap early, you don't really get hurt as much. You know what I mean? Daily Drift says he's grateful for health, his girlfriend, this community. Shout out to Daily Drift. Bubba says he's grateful for my sobriety, my freedom, and my parents. Um, Chuck E. Cheese Ranch says Dale Chance got third again today at the Ruby Classic. His routine was to get to Big Lenny if it's Sam Slick and Robert Frank showed up. Is that true, Chuck E. Cheese? Was it really today, the Ruby Classic? The legendary Ruby Classic was today? Man, that's funny. Shout out to Big Lenny. Rest in peace. Greg Savoie says, grateful for my sobriety, this community, and my family. Hey, David, the pony is a great feeling. Blah, 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 blah. David Shuttleworth, aka Sonny. I am grateful to go to my cousin's wedding next week. Grateful to have my health and be able to work out. Grateful that I have a roof over my head and food. Rest in peace, Big Lenny. After that, Bubba said. Well, I like hearing that. See? Positivity. Yeah, Prince Andrew was there with his camera, so we will probably get another message. Prince Andrew, are you joking? Are you talking about the King of England here, the Prince of England? Or there's a misfit called Prince Andrew? Like, I'm out of the game a little bit. You fucking with us, Chuck E. Cheese? Dan says 100, 100, 100. Big Lenny tried Abogaine and had lots of good things to say about it. I would like to try it. Alhamdulillah. This is it means God bless, right? Or it means if God willing, God willing. Yes, God willing for everything. Oh, Prince Andrew from all the OG Delaware Misfit episode. Ah, okay. So you are one of the misfits. That's funny. Welcome. Yeah, I've seen you around. It's good to see you around, Chuck E. Cheese. You should come on. All of them. You guys, if you want to get notified when I go online, you can just hit the bell, and then you'll get notified. So if you subscribe to the channel, then you can hit the bell, and you get push notifications on your phone. So when I get online, you'll see like boop. I'll go on your phone and be like, hey, time for Antoine Anonymous. Yes, all praise to Allah. All praise to God. Alhamdulillah. Like in the Muslims have all these cool sayings that like sound cool. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah. Like all praise to Allah. Like, do Christians have stuff that's cool like that? Like Christ is King. It's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like we need better. Like we need some cool sayings too. All right, well, I'm grateful for you guys too. Thanks for showing up. Because without you, it would just be me like ranting by myself for a whole hour, which I could do honestly, but it's much better if we interact like that. So I'm really happy. The next one I'm gonna do is going to be bing, 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 bing. Maybe a Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday the 12th. 9 p.m. I'll do another one. Antoine Anonymous. Live. Poof poof. Beef paff. Okay. Oh, Catherine. I'm grateful for you too. Political alchemy. Were you there the whole time? You didn't say much. You were just listening me to me in the background, I guess. Yeah, it's cool. I do grappling. Very challenging. I was very nervous before this tournament because it's something new I never did. Right? Don't know what to expect. But if you guys go on Instagram, you can see my stories. I posted the 3 matches I did. Obviously, I'm a little bit bigger than the average than the other guys over there. So I had a little bit of an advantage, but hey, I had less experience than most of them. So balances out a little bit. See. All right. Thanks everyone. And remember what you said about the things you were grateful for earlier, right? Remember that. Remember that, and go to bed with that. Go to bed with that, and then tomorrow try to carry it in the next day. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Happy you guys came on. Good turnout. And I'll see you guys Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Put it in your calendar. I'll see you guys there. Dun, dun, dun.